Hi everyone, my name is Paisley Smith and I'm a filmmaker, a virtual reality director, and a world designer. I'm very pleased to be talking to you today about how we can harness the power of the imagination through world design to build a better Canada. So this year, my family moved out of our home of 20 years, and during the move, I found this business card. You can't see it from where you're sitting, but it says Paisley Smith, inventor extraordinaire, in Curls font. I made my parents design and print these for me in bulk when I was 8, and I was pretty sure that my inventions were going to change the world. My work today is definitely not what my 8-year-old self had in mind. I'm not exactly an inventor extraordinaire, but I do feel that my work is, at its essence, inventing. World design is a process that creates the story world first, and then develops the individual characters and stories within that world second. The idea is that by thinking through the details, the stories that then emerge from these worlds will be strong enough to be experienced across media platforms. This process can be used to create fictional content or applied to the real world. Story becomes a way to predict and solve problems on a personal and global scale. So what does this have to do with the future of Canada? American author Walida Imarisha writes in the foreword to her book, Octavia's Brood, "The decolonization of the imagination is the most dangerous and subversive form there is, for it is where all other forms of decolonization are born. Once the imagination is unshackled, liberation is limitless." Someone had to imagine a world where women had the right to vote before it became a reality. Freeing our imaginations is a necessary act of resistance. I believe it is our duty as Canadian citizens to deep dive into our best resource, our imaginations, and work towards a better future for all of us. We need to look beyond what we've been programmed to see. Politicians, activists, parents, these are just a few of the people whose vision of future possibilities drives their work. You may not even realize that you do this every day. So, have you ever considered what a better Canada would look like for you? How about for the person sitting next to you? So instead of telling you my vision of a future tonight, I thought I would run you through a simple tool I often use in my world design practice that helps me to identify where there's room for innovation. Okay, the key to this actually working is to not judge your thoughts as they lead you to new ideas, feelings, and questions. So, what are you carrying with you tonight? And what's in your pockets? Maybe you have a purse or a bag, or maybe you're traveling light, but whatever you're carrying on you, I want you to just quickly think about it. Maybe you have lipstick, breath mints, keys, phone, whatever, just think of them. Is there anything that you have on you that makes you feel something? Embarrassment, joy, anger, maybe? Anything that you wouldn't want the person sitting next to you to know about? These feelings are a clue that there's a greater meaning to be revealed within this object. So choose one thing. Where did you get it? What does it do? Do you need it? And why do you hold on to it? Matisse said that to look at something as if you'd never seen it before requires great courage. Let's imagine we're in Surrey, British Columbia, 200 years in the future. You've still got this object on you. What does it look like in its future form? Is it more useful? Does it still exist? Now, what does your day look like in this future of Canada, carrying this object on you? We're starting to build a world. What if I could give you the ability to build and explore the future that you just imagined? My work in virtual reality first began when I met Nani de la Peña in the World Building Media Lab at the University of Southern California. Nani is the first person to use virtual reality as a tool for journalism, placing audiences on scene of real-world events and allowing them to become witnesses to those events. I began producing for her, and we created a number of room-scale interactive VR experiences, including Project Syria. What convinced me of the power of virtual reality was watching people take off the VR headset, incredibly moved and needing to talk about the things that they just witnessed. VR is an extremely powerful tool as it can directly impact the emotions of an audience. It can be a way to free our imagination. Not only can we visualize our worlds, but we can experience them. VR is then a mirror to look back on our own human experience. We can examine our own reality and, more importantly, the experiences of others. Inspired by this use of technology, I began to use VR to examine my own life. Homestay is a VR documentary I'm creating with the National Film Board of Canada's interactive studio. It's a personal story of coming to terms with a suicide in my family. For me, letting an audience move through my emotional journey and to take a look into my world is extremely terrifying, but I believe that by sharing my experience, we can open up a dialogue and see how our individual lives are a part of a larger system. So what if we were able to look at the future of Canada in VR, interact with the changes and shifts that we've made, and see them before they happen? What if you could share your vision of a future Canada with your community? What if your community could share its vision of a future Canada with other communities? Your world becomes a vehicle for change. The possibility for connection and innovation are endless. So some of you tonight may have tried VR and seen its power for storytelling, but many of you probably have not. We are still working on making this technology accessible to all creators. VR is amazing, but we need to remember that it's not the only way to free our imaginations. I love world building because it is accessible to everyone. We do not need to rely solely on technology to tell strong stories that make real world change. But we do need to take a chance, take a step away from what's known, and create something new. We are Canadians. We have a unique perspective in this world, and I know if each of us tells our story, we can lead to a better country for all of us. If we can imagine our versions of a better Canada, we can share these futures and begin to work towards them. Because the secret is, we're all inventors extraordinaire. Thank you.